I swear, this is just another reason why you should never poke the sleeping bear. How's everyone doing today? It is your favorite journalist, Jevvy. And before I get into the story, let's do a bit of background context. I waited for more details to come out because I'm not a fan of speculation like most vloggers are. And most likely like the vloggers you've already watched before coming here. But this time around, it looks like it's kind of unavoidable, right? So when Ludi came out, it was billed as a Vybz Kartel tune featuring Shenseea. And I even have it saved in my library as such. But then Shenseea ran a whole PR tour with it. She kind of ran with it as her own song, released a music video for it on her own Vivo, and has won awards for it left and right, as if she wasn't just a feature. This has caused some interviewers to question whether the song was hers or Kartel's. And you can see from her hostility that she was feeling emasculated just from the question. It's funny because any other artist would be more than happy to admit that it's Kartel's. Winfred Williams had to pretty much pull teeth to get a straight answer out of her.
Is it a collab, your song featuring Kartel? And
it's actually so unique song.
who is the feature?
I was the feature on the song.
So it's a Kartel song?
Yes, that
featuring
they had
you.
before. So of course, when they do the verses and somebody else do just the chorus, they're gonna say, okay, the person that did the chorus is the one that featured.
Yeah.
But I don't really see the difference though. Whichever you put it, Kartel featuring Shenseea, Shenseea featuring Kartel, we're both on the same tracks.
This is out of character for Kartel features because everyone who features on a Kartel track tends to continuously mention Kartel with some type of religious fever like DeMarco used to when Miracle was still hot. After ages, she finally bigged up Kartel on stage, and according to her, she has bigged up Kartel twice while collecting awards. So this development is still somewhat recent, but that was probably just her using his name to ride a wave like many others have. If it was genuine, maybe she would have admit wholeheartedly that she's able to have her career because of Kartel's name, but whatever. To make matters worse, not once did Kartel ever share the song to his audience. He used to be quite frequent on Twitter and Instagram, and not even a single mention of the song. That caused some speculation. Now, after 6 months after the song has been released, new details are emerging after the original Ludi track without Shenseea was released on Kartel's Vivo, with the description of it saying that it was never meant to be a collab. So what pissed off Kartel or his team enough to drop the song reveal? Well, Mr. Ramiz from Ramiz Entertainment either maybe couldn't keep his ego in check or thought that opening up his mouth would help give that extra push for his artist and his brand. He went to On Stage and sat down with Winfred Williams, where he bragged that his artist was a writer, and bragged about many different things that he's doing, the business aspect of things. And this is why you keep your friggin' mouth shut and don't poke the sleeping bear, because Ramiz might have gone too far with this following quote. Quote, "She's my main priority. She's my main issue right now." Notice me say issue? Because everyone just sees everything as this one woe. In every business that you go into, you have good and you have bad. So we allow them to talk. The more you talk, the more promotion for her. So we allow them to talk all of that, says Ramiz. Ramiz spent the rest of the interview bigging up himself, talking about his past, and most notably not mentioning Vybz Kartel whatsoever. He's not obligated to, but I guess people were expecting him to at least thank the world boss or something along those lines. And it's possible this might have pissed off Adidja Palmer behind the scenes. We'll never know. But consider this. Vybz Kartel has a massive ego. This is not a bad thing. You kind of have to be on top of an entire industry. He calls himself the world boss. There's no way you can say something like that without having a giant ego. Ramiz not even giving any type of credit in the interview could have ticked him off. Look at the timeline of how things happened, right? The On Stage show was live streamed on Saturday. Kartel and his affiliates probably came across it on Sunday. And Monday, the original Ludi audio gets dropped on YouTube with the "My song was never a collaboration" description accompanying it. This is when all the rumors of Shenseea stealing Ludi started. Very quickly, Ramiz and Shenseea went back to On Stage to clear up some rumors. The interview was not well done at all, with the journalist not controlling the conversation and allowing his two subjects to rant too long. Still, Ramiz refused to take any blame for any type of wrongdoing and says that he was given an opportunity as a businessman and ran with it. Some mysterious person who will be revealed later contacted Ramiz telling him not to run with Ludi. However, Shenseea had already voiced it and the music video was already done. As a businessman, Ramiz wasn't going to just write off $500,000 Jamaican dollars he spent on the video. Shenseea also admitted that she used the same lyrics and made it into a female version. But she did it because she was instructed to do so by Elvis Redwood of So Unique Records. The rest of the interview was Ramiz telling people to go talk to Mr. Redwood if they have any further questions. Now, I'm not going to lie. I contacted Say Unique Records on the off chance they'll be willing to do an interview, and of course it didn't happen. Well, I guess other journalists besides me must have also contacted Elvis, and instead of giving us any type of exposure, he decided to drop a video on his YouTube page, a page that had not been used in over 3 years, in order to explain on his own what happened, which was pretty smart of him to do. He talked for 27 long minutes. It's very easy to drift off and miss some key details Mr. Elvis Redwood might have mentioned, but here's what I got from it while I was busy taking notes like I'm a student. He confirms that Ludi was never supposed to be a collab. This detail isn't that big of a deal, but people took a headline and ran with it. Kartel made the original, and then Redwood searched for a female to voice the song. He also said he didn't need Kartel's permission to use Ludi because he owns the rhythm, but knows about the do's and don'ts of doing business with the Gaza boss. He calls the Ludi song on Vivo a leak and not a release. He might have a point because as of time of this recording, Ludi was removed from his Vivo page for the public viewing. Kartel's Vivo also released a new song called Remember Me to capitalize off all this drama and extra traffic. Vybz Kartel owns all his masters, which is interesting and says a lot about his wife, Shotty from Short Boss Records. As the king of dancehall, I guess this only makes sense, right? Elvis approached Kashan to go on the song, but she turned it down. Her most popular song is Bubble Up Your Body, a song that she was a feature on for Vybz Kartel. I wonder what was her reasoning for not coming through with that. Redwood approached several others, but he never heard the sound that he had wanted. He says he knew what he was looking for, but never ended up hearing what he'd wanted until he came across Shenseea. Ramiz wasn't exaggerating when he spoke about a mysterious individual approaching him to stop the project. It seems like he exaggerated how he handled the situation, because what he had done, he just forwarded the individual to Elvis. This mysterious individual is allegedly Dunmore Productions, who allegedly isn't involved in the affairs of Vybz Kartel whatsoever. We don't know what happened with that. More details will definitely come forward. It's somewhat sad because Dunmore produced Vybz Kartel's song Bicycle Ride, which I felt flew under the radar, and I still bump. Dunmore Productions is involved in this, as well as possibly TJ Records, and might have allegedly tried to stop Ludi from taking road. For whatever reason, TJ and Elvis have some negative history, and I'm guessing this is something we'll be hearing about for years to come. The Ludi on Kartel's Vivo was leaked and not released, as I already said. Elvis seems to be using the word leak outside of the traditional sense. At the beginning of the video, he said someone leaked the song, and about halfway through he described the Shenseea version of Ludi as leaked. And then he got Saga, Conscience, and Baby Tosh mixed onto the rhythm. This just adds more confusion to everything. Johnny Wonder is still making waves as he was in charge of distributing Ludi. I'm happy for him, as one of my first videos was actually about him and his dispute with his former company, 21st Hapelos. Him and his PR company, Consulting NPR, were one of the first sources that I ever spoke to about anything involving dancehall, which is cool. That video is on my channel. I suggest you check it out. But understand that this is my earlier days and I was very new to YouTube. I'm still new, but it's not up to par with what I do nowadays, if I may say so myself. Elvis negotiated Kartel's financial cut when Ludi was sold to VP Records. This might have been one of those dues that he speaks about when dealing with Vybz Kartel. Most likely someone at Zodiac released the song on the Vivo page. This is starting to sound like a case of one person deciding to go rogue and send a message. Also, he revealed that popular DJ and social media presence, Foota Hype, is talking with his foot in his mouth again, as usual. Foota was all over social media acting like he knows better than everyone else, as usual, by telling people to blame the producer for all of this. No disrespect, but Foota reminds me a lot of these YouTube vloggers who speak on things that they don't know about and ends up spreading misinformation. I'm actually working on a video as we speak about Foota, and I suggest you guys check back in either this week or next week to see it. I won't be bashing him that much. Redwood said something that I completely agree with, which is that the description on the song on Kartel's Vivo was a message to somebody, but not a shot at Shenseea. I'll touch on this a little later. And I think one of the few pauses out of all of this was Redwood explaining the business side of dancehall, which somewhat opened my eyes. I know that music sales makes little to no money, but I guess if you're able to sell enough viral hits and sell them to larger companies like VP Records, you can still eat off of that for a short time. However, considering how rare it is to get a huge hit, this shows that touring is indeed essential to artists surviving. Now, there's a whole bunch of questions that now needs to be answered. Like, what's the process for how an artist gets a feature with Vybz Kartel? Redwood mentioned there being a certain do's and don'ts when you're releasing a Kartel song. But what are those exactly? You've also never heard an artist give a straight answer as to how they get features from Kartel if he's locked up in prison. I think this all ties back into whatever new management is running Kartel's style now, where the flow of his music was damn near halted and questions about his music is being raised. That great run he had from like 2012 until 2015 was, to me, the greatest Vybz Kartel there ever was. Every week we had at least 3 new tunes to crank out the speakers, and at least one of them, or at least one in every 4 songs, would be a huge hit. Of course, the casual fans weren't paying attention, and we're too busy saying dancehall was dying. But I, for one, enjoyed that more than this slow and controlled rollout of Kartel songs that don't even measure up to the songs he would just throw out there for fun. There's also questions that VP Records is going to have to answer. No question their PR team has been working around the clock to stay ahead of the curve so that this story doesn't get too out of hand. TJ Records and Donwell will definitely have something to say. If not a subliminal on their Instagram or Snapchat, then maybe something very small and petty. Kartel's team has a lot to say as well, including why Ludi was removed from the Vivo page when it was the #1 trending video on Jamaican YouTube. Knowing them, they'll say absolutely nothing as usual. Short Boss is a very shrewd businesswoman and doesn't overreact. But you know who needs to speak up the most? Vybz Kartel. And like, man, I miss his tweets, to be honest. He needs to get back on social media somehow. If he was still active on social media, he would have said something by now without a doubt. But back to Shenseea. With everything being said, many of us knew that Shenseea was just a beneficiary of Kartel. But it wasn't a big deal, because at least we were getting good music and we all love a happy story. Think about it, right? A young, single mother comes out of nowhere, starts getting mainstream or somewhat mainstream appeal, builds a large social media presence. Then she started promoting products on that same social media. And she's cute? Yo, John, no, I don't see a problem. And while Kartel's original version might sound a little better, and I just have to say that I'm not a huge fan of the overuse of autotune on a lot of Kartel tunes, this song definitely wouldn't have taken off if not for Shenseea's team doing a crazy media push, as well as Shenseea's cute figure, right? If you don't believe me, you can look at dozens of Kartel hit songs over the years that have gone overlooked, like Mad Dog on the Knockway rhythm, Credit Alone Done on the New Money rhythm, Mamacita featuring J Capri on the Russian rhythm, Rambo Canambo on the Selfie rhythm, and there's Catch a Fire, a single, and My Girl featuring Titimus, which might have gotten overlooked because Titimus has this very odd and very young thug-ish image. Oh, that's besides the point, right? Now, to inquisitive dancehall fans, we're definitely not surprised by the story. No matter what interview you watch by Shenseea, you really see her get on the defensive side of things and is constantly trying to prove her penmanship, her talent, and that she's the real deal. And it makes sense. When arguably your whole career exists because you got a stimulus package from another artist where you only had to change up a couple used to me's, then I too will be doing the most to prove myself. Still, with Elvis clearing up some questions, this changes nothing for Shenseea. She has played this absolutely perfect. Or should I give credit to Ramiz, since he seems to be the brains behind almost everything involving Shenseea. For one, Shenseea never lied. In her onstage interview, which I showed a clip of earlier, she admitted that she was just a feature on the song and that the song was already made. Second, she has managed to take that hype and turn that into a feature with Jamil, Ding Dong, and others. It's at the point where I call her the uncrowned princess of collabs. And it's going to be hard to take away the title of queen from the late J Capri. Now she has a legit fan base and has showcased her talent. And in the long run, this will just turn into another gimmick. Are we going to remember this even a year from now? People have already forgotten that Alkaline was wearing contacts a year and a half ago. And he never addressed it. This will go down as just another, gimmick or just another small time thing. And you need gimmicks if you want to bust in a dancehall nowadays anyways. So end of the day, people like to take things personal. With Kartel's description saying it wasn't supposed to be a collaboration, or is he really throwing shots at Shenseea? Definitely not. If anything, he's throwing shots at the people behind the release of Shenseea's version of Ludi. Possibly. Anyways, allegedly. Sometimes as a king, you just have to flex your muscle a little bit to remind people who really runs things. That's what Kartel did. Man, this whole thing is really draining, man. This video has been very long, and I'm sure I've missed a lot of key points. If anything new and important, mind you, surfaces, I'll drop another video explaining the developments. There's lots of better things to talk about, which I'm actually going to get to. Now that school's pretty much finished for me, it's time to pump out some real content. Make sure you subscribe to see all of it because I have some really good subjects that I want to touch on, especially Foot the Hype. Don't forget that. Now, it's your favorite journalist, Jevvy. I'm just here trying to keep things short, sweet, and simple. Have a great day, everyone.